Hello everyone, my name is Riley and this is the RDW Glass YouTube channel. Please be sure to tune in every Tuesday for new glass blowing content. My Instagram is RDW_glass and my website is RDW-glass. Bam! Alright, if you've been watching the videos if you've been watching the videos and liking what you're watching, press the like button. That would help because that gets the video suggested to other people who watch the related videos that you do. If you watch this video and other videos, somebody watched that other video, they're going to get this video in their little cycle. Heck yeah. The reason we're coming from this angle is because today we're going to be working on a tube, and if I have my camera here, my phone gets too hot, and I don't want my phone getting too hot because it's not good for the battery and stuff. Your battery can expand, and I fucked the phone up like that in the past. So, we're going to try to avoid that. It's talking super loud. I could just turn the fan off. I'm not, don't have the torch going right now. I have a video in the past called How to Do a Tube Lip Wrap. And on this tube, it's just a clear mouthpiece. And it's flared out a tad, so you can have a comfortable, placing your lips up very comfortably to where you're not having to push your lips in it. You're not having to put your lips around it, as that's gross. So just put your lips right up to it. See? Perfect, just like a tube should be. In that video on how to do a tube lip wrap, which is called Tube Lip Wrap, I make a tube, or I take a tube that is this long, whole arm, and we make it, make it this long. And the thing that I did with it is just flare it out to make a lip. That's what I did. In the video on how to make a tube lip wrap, we put color on it. I believe it's blue or cobalt. I meant blue slime or just cobalt blue. And that's what we do for the lip wrap of the video on how to do a tube lip wrap. So if you want to know how we got from that tube that's my arm length to this tube that's a more reasonably working size, that's the way to find that out. The reason that this one is going to be called Creating a Tube is because what we're going to do is seal the bottom off, and we are also going to place a female joint on here with a little design on the bottom. And if you come from Instagram and you're watching these, you know that my tubes all have built-in ash catchers, and that was something that I seen a company do a long time ago. It was AMG, the American-made glass company, and they have mass-produced enough stuff to. I'm gonna sit down. They've mass-produced enough stuff to where they can, spread their stuff throughout smoke shops. So that's how I was able to find them. And that piece that I bought years ago had a built-in ash catcher, and I was like, that is amazing, because I just sat there and I watched, I had two pieces, one that didn't have the built-in ash catcher and one that did, and you just see it and you watch the water get dirty, and this one is just staying clean for 8 or 9 uses, which that's a big difference for especially straight tubes, because if you're a beaker user, you know that you can let the beaker get pretty dirty before you need to clean it. But if you're a straight tube user, you know that there's only so much water in the tube, and then when it gets dirty, you need to change it quick because it's nasty. It gets dirty a lot quicker than water in a beaker. So that is why I think the built-in ash catchers are really cool and handy on my pieces. I'm going to show you one of them because I have one. And I can show you the little bit of a built-in ash catcher too. So the biggest thing with the built-in ash catcher is where your down stem goes down, the ash catcher has to be lower than it. This is a very small tube, so here. This is a bigger one, and you can tell the same. It's a bigger one that I made, and it has like a double hole in there. And this has a horn on it by the tube. It's got a very slight beaker to it. But yeah, the ash catch is lower, so that is how that works. Put this up. I think I might have one more. Look at. Oh, okay. It's dirty. I don't really want to show dirty glass, but fuck it. You can see that the ash catching area is lower than the downstem. So we're going to be creating a tube like such today. I even have, so these are pieces that I didn't finish the base on yet. I wanted to have this done by Halloween. I just found it, or I just seen it over there. That's okay, we could sell this any time of the year. It's got a little ghoul on it, that's why I say the Halloween time. But, so my bases for my tubes, I'm going to go over that too, because that was a specific difference in my tubes other than the built-in ash catcher. So you saw the one tube that had a bit of a beakered out base, but most of the tubes have this. I show the dirty piece again. Most of the tubes have this, which is a epoxy resin base. Why is he doing epoxy resin bases? Well, what was happening is I had that, you know, that reoccurring thing where glass would, here, let me just grab this one. This is a thick boy, but where I would be washing a piece in the sink and it would tink the side of the sink, and I've had bases break. And also just when you're setting down your tube, if you were to, I don't know, if you were to just set it down on, nobody should be setting their tubes down on like gravel or the road, sidewalk or anything like that. But if you were to set it down on there, if it's glass, you can hear the little tink in there when it when you set it down. So the idea behind my bases is that it's not going to break. Like, the one thing with the epoxy though is if you have like anything that's resin, okay, let me get the camera. Voila. So how that base thing came about is because I would make trays out of the epoxy resin. Like you see, that's not a tray, it's more of a cup holder, but I put my logo in the cup holding mold, because you get molds and they're, I have one right here. I'm just turning into a video talking about epoxy for a little bit. So there's molds like this and, you know, this. And so you would pour the epoxy resin in there after you can mix colors and stuff in it with different powders. So that was something I realized that was cool about it too, is you could get like colors in the base that you couldn't get from glass. Like, I don't think there's a glass color that looks like the base of this. Let me put these tubes away. Aha, look at that. That's that difference right there. So, ready? I wonder if you can hear it from there. Probably. One has like a tink glass noise and the other one didn't. So those resin molds, so like something like this, and I'll cut out a picture and put it there, or like I'll do like a layer of clear resin, and then I'll push a picture on top like you see here, and like you see here. This I cut out of I had a little box of socks that I got. They were South Park themed, and when I had that box, I just like cut out the characters and I made them into like little dish trays. So that's pretty cool. But messing around with all the resin and making these different types of trays, pretty cool, right? When I saw this tray, I realized that it's about the size of most glass bases. You can see it covers the entire thing. So when I realized that made me come to this conclusion of all of the things that I just explained. Like, oh, I can have these like sit somewhere and it doesn't sound like a glass tinking on something. And the other thing was like the colors. Like I could mix colors that I couldn't. I could get colors off that powder that's in the resin mixes that I couldn't get from glass. And there's colors from the glass that I couldn't get from the powder mixes, I'm sure. The powder mixes, there's just such a wider variety of available colors. And there's even like, there's like glow in the dark powder and like UV blacklight powder. So if you wanted to get the UV to match, the sun's been switching because that's how Earth works. In the sun and whatnot, and it used to come up right here, but now it's coming up over here, and it's, as you see, if I don't move forward, it's glaring me in the face. So that's also why I've been trying to glass blow a little earlier in the morning. I have a hard time glass blowing late at night just because like I like doing stuff during the day, so by nighttime I'm like burnt out. They're the same size as the bases, so I said, you know what? I'm going to use the resin mold to create my bases. So today in this video, after I create the tube piece, I'm going to stop the video and then attach 2 videos, and the second video is going to be when I'm doing the base. Or maybe I should just do 2 separate videos, like how to do a tube base and how I do my tube base. I don't know. Should have probably came to this conclusion prior to starting the video, but so as of now, I'm just going to create the tube, and how I'm feeling at the end of the video is, or whatever I decide by the end of the video, we might see the tube base be made, and that might be a next week video. One or the other. Alright. So, tube. Boom. That was a good solid conversation with the camera and with whoever's listening. I'm sure people are gonna hit skip until they start seeing the torch come out. So right here we have an 18 millimeter male joint that I heated it up and I pulled like this, and then I burnt this end off because you know it's like that. And this we're going to stick in our female joint, and now it's closed off and no air can get through. And we're not going to actually do that until we have this looking the way we want it to, which I need my joint tool to do that. Well, I already got an 18 millimeter joint hooked up to that. Right. Yeah, and the whole reason the camera's over here is because of the heat thing. And I think this is far enough back where it won't pose too much of a problem. Especially because the back of the phone would be sitting here normally. And that's where the battery is. And like I said, you don't want your phone battery to get this hot. Because our kiln is at 1,000 degrees and the torch I think is burning like, I don't know, upwards of 3,000. So, not good to have a phone battery at 3,000 degrees of heat right next to it. So we have this roller that I made, inspired by taffy tubes, which I hung out with Taffy before, Taffy the Gray. It's turning into a conversational video. I hung out with Taffy the Gray, kind of sounds like Taffy the Great, and the dude Evolve, who made the Dabbachinos, the ones that look like the Starbucks cups that you dab out of. So I was hanging out with Evolve and Taffy the Gray and Austin with Weirdy with a Beardy glass, and we were all just hanging out talking about the rollers and just chilling, burning. Really cool. That's one of the things that I always suggest people do is they learn or they try to spend a little bit of time at a glass blowing studio. It's awesome getting all of the equipment and staying at home, but you should kind of get an experience of a studio environment. That way you kind of know what environment. You just kind of learn cool things, and you get to hang out with people who have been glass blowing for a while. And I never go up to Zen anymore because it's like an hour drive, but I still, of course, remember and utilize all the stuff that I learned there. So, and like I was saying, the cool thing is like being able to meet other artists and stuff. Taffy the Gray, he came up with the taffy tube rollers. So this is mine. It's got skateboard bearings. That way you guys can make one too. It's got skateboard bearings and nuts. You can see I used a screw and nut, like a little bolt situation, and doubled up on the nuts. That way one tightens to the other. I used washers to go in between the metal and the bearing, and that's so the bearings can roll on both sides. So that allows, instead of me having to do this the whole time, which the tube is gonna get heavy, I sit it here and I can just do this. Taffy has this cool thing, or his actually like his first, he's gone through multiple models, and now he has like a model where there's a little hook, that's why you saw me doing this, and it like hooks right onto here. That way the tube can't fall off or anything, and it's really badass, the different little enhancements he's making to his things. But he has this little method he was teaching me in Weirdy, where he does like, or me and Austin, Weirdy with a Beardy, where he like rolls his hand and the tube like never stops rolling. He's got it going on. That dude's cool. Alright. Bam. So, first off, we need to get this complete, and then next, what we're going to do is pop a hole here. So we're going to create, I have some rainbow wigwag that I'm going to put on the bottom of this, and then we're going to pop a hole here, and then we're going to put it in the kiln. Like, we're going to take it off here and do that thing I was talking about where this is on it. Yeah. And what I'm going to try to do is, maybe I shouldn't put it in the kiln first, then I'd have to have that ready. You guys know that most of the time I do like a little video, or not a video, I do like a little test run of what I'm making before the video, but I wanted to just get in here and be fresh. Hopefully I don't mess something up and then have to redo the video. I would probably do like a cut and then add more. Yeah. If you guys are watching me think this through a little bit more too, because I haven't made a tube in like 2 months. So, also, I guess you're going to be kind of seeing a little bit of a rocky explanation in a way. But you will get the concept of what I'm trying to do, and that will inspire somebody out there to try to work on a tube. And then maybe they'll send me a message on Instagram saying, hey, this is a tube I made, what do you think? And I'll get to tell them what I think. And they'll get to say, hey, this is a method that I used and I found worked perfect. And I'll say, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to start using the method that you learned. So the cool thing about glass blowing community is we're spreading information. Alright, ventilation. Eye protection. Hydration. Alright, first things first. Let's hit, this is going to be a long video, let's hit the wigwag, because this needs a wigwag at the bottom. Set this to the side, ready? Hit the wigwag. You got it pulled out at least. a section of, I think it's like Colorado Company tubing. I might be wrong. Or Golden Gate, one of the two. It's the black and the rainbow. And I have it pulled down, and I'm going to take this little section off here. Let's peel our piece off. That and this. Alright, so it's always good to have the blow tube kind of ready, because just in case it does start to cave in, you want to be able to clean it up quick. Take a seat. Put the fan on me. Needed the fan on me. It's getting hot out here. And after the hurricane, we had like just a few days of cold weather. That was good for glass blurring. Alright. So, we have a video on how to do a wig wag, and I'm sure you've seen it because that's the most popular video. I guess everybody is real interested in learning how to wig wag. It's a cool method, so I don't blame you. What you do is you pull the glass down, and my last name is Wiggins, so we call it the Wiggins wig wag. First you get a nice turn, and you spin opposite directions. I know for the little work right now, this is a bad camera angle, but as soon as we get to the tube, then you'll understand why the angle's over there. And for all those people who say, hey, why don't you use the bottom torch of the Red Max? Today is your lucky day. You get to see it being used. Right now we're just doing a little wig, wag, wig, wag. I'm already going to be throwing edits into the video, so I might just speed it up. The trick of wig wags is, since you're doing a wig wag, you would be doing it on lined work. So pick a line and only watch that line. Don't try to say, oh, do all the lines line up? Just line one line up and all the other lines will line up. If you forgot whether you were wigging or wagging, just check out what angle it would turn. I used to be like, oh shit, which way was I going? But that was just a very quick thought, because you could realize, oh, if I turn it this way, it goes this way. If I turn it this way, it goes that way. Just pull a punchy off. Nice little twist. And I'm going to melt this into a bubble. As good as we got our tube in the back, like shortly behind the flame, getting it warmed up. That's perfect because we're going to need it warm. We're going to move this a little closer. Like such. We use gravity because gravity should always be your friend. puffing a little bit to air. See the piece from Alaskan? So you can visualize where we're at. Right now in the wigwag is that royal decision where you say, do I pop a hole on the side and make the wigwag go like that? Or do I pop a hole at the top and make the wigwag go like that? So that is, I'm going to decide the top. And that takes off punchy switching too, so that makes it a little easier. Speck of something on there. There you go. A little speck of something. So if you want to keep it lengthy, because remember, it needs to have some length to it, that way it's under the down step, which is another thing I have to prepare very soon. Okay. We're going to put this in the kiln. I am going through the steps in my head, which is not going to end. This little nose hair is tickling the snags out of me. Alright, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at over here. Alright, so these are, you know, the joint sections prepped to go on tubes. This is a cool one. If Vic is watching, he knows exactly where this is from. Vic, the homie. So you can see I got these down stems ready because this, get a better focus. This is made by Sarah Mac Glass, dope person. Her boyfriend is a famous magician, which is super dope. And he can do card tricks. He's done them. I even saw a video. He was doing a card trick for Mac Miller years and years ago. So anyways, this will be the and this will be the dupe. So I was looking over here to see if I had like a down stem kind of prepped in a way and ready. Like that will give the chug we're looking for, I'm pretty sure. If not, I can just prep a brand new one. Let's see. Alright, I made the decision. I'm just going to prep a fresh one because I have plenty of 12mm tubing that I've used up to small bits, so we can just utilize that. 12mm tubing out the wazoo. So I didn't get any comments saying giveaway, which means either people weren't listening at the end of the last video or nobody really wanted the glass. But I have like a bunch of glass like what you just seen. Brand new glass blower. This is, you know, very, I mean, if you just comment giveaway and you could win 12mm tubing, as a beginning glass artist, I would have 100% done that because you're not earning a bunch of money off your glass at first. So if you have a way to get free supplies, take advantage of it. So if you're watching this now and you're interested in a giveaway of glass, comment giveaway, that way I have an understanding of who would actually be down to be part of a giveaway. I think I'm going to use this piece. And I'm going to show you how I do my down stems for my tubes, built-in down stems. They're, like, if you think about beaker down stems, most beakers are going to have a removable down stem, and most straight tubes are going to have a down stem that stays in place. I've been asked about like percolators and stuff. Because it's more complicated, I am waiting on certain things, and like a matrix perk, I can't do that yet, and the slit ones, where there's multiple slits, you need a wet saw to do that. So unless I go back to Zen for some videos, because at Zen they have tools that I don't have here. One of them is a sandblaster, which I have a person doing a sandblasting for me. He's in Canada. He's in Canada, he's Canadian, and he's trying to get his name out there as a glass artist, or not a glass artist, as a sandblaster. So I'm going to be doing a little collab with him, so I can get some of my work sandblasted and he can get his name out there. His name is Yak Blaster on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me post about him very soon. Alright, so now I'm thinking this is going to be my down stem. So I want it to be smooth. So I'm going to pull some of that off because it is not looking the way I want it to. Comments, go and throw them in the comments section. If you have any questions, that'd be the place to ask. And if you're not going to ask on Instagram, I do read the comments on YouTube, so you can ask me questions right there in the comments section. I got this tube opened up just a tad. Now I'm going to make sure the edges and everything look round and clean. this is going on the inside of the piece, so once we're done doing whatever we're doing now, it's no longer manipulatable. And one thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to keep the tube up towards the middle, slowly working the flame up. Don't just jump heat, because you guys know that that's not good. I got my tweezers here. I have a video on a tool talk on tweezers. If you want to get a little bit more specific about tweezers. See, I gave it a nice little bend. Keeping it even. And I'm going to go a little higher and I'm going to do another bend. Make sure your bends are not so angled to where you're going to have trouble getting it in there, but you can manipulate it quite a bit to where you want it. And that is where I want it. I'm going to place this in the kiln, trying, because it's small, I'm going to try to put it as far back as I can, that way I don't get burned. I don't get burnt when I'm working with it. Alright. The next step is this now, I think. You know what I got? Halloween candy. You go for the whole thing at once, you just half and half. Just have to half it. Hope everybody had a good Halloween. Very cherry. I'm heating up about like that far in. Just like an inch in. AJ is supposed to be over here tomorrow. He's supposed to be bringing some more punches. We are running low in this year. We had Sandman's studio. We had Sandman in the studio the other day. Made a flower. And we had Happy Medium Glass in the studio the other day. Made a cool wig wrap pendant. I'll show both of those at the end of the video on that way. You want to play mine? Getting a even space to connect that wig whack that we made right at the beginning to this 18mm female joint on our 18mm male joint holder. So if you're making the tube, you need a male joint, or this is a male joint, graphite joint that goes into the female glass joint. So you'll need both of those. thought this was wider. That's why I was working on getting this wider. But there we go. Now I'm gonna heat this up down here and do a nice little twist. That way the wig wag comes to a cool little spiral. Double circle around for like candy rolls down my local. Didn't think about that. Oh, the studio necessity. Back scratcher, bro. Comes in mad handy. Have it hanging on the wall right there, where you can easily grab it. It's on my chair now, bro. Man, that airhead is mad sugary and kind of rough. Talk about politics on here, but the world is looking interesting right now. It's crazy that people are calling them ends to wars. I'm a heavy stock investor. That's where my other funds come in. So, as a stock investor, as somebody who invests in different stocks and tries to up my dividend portfolio as much as possible, and I just mess around with all of these different stocks. Dude, the stock market has gone up 200 points, or my stocks have gone up over $200 just last week, which that's insane. Like in a week my portfolio was up $200. The interest rates just got dropped another 0.25%, which is interesting. Feeling good about the way things are looking. Yeah, as somebody who invests in stocks, I mean, how could you not be happy right now? Our market is going up, 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 up. Yeah, I saw fucking Warren Buffett, my little Berkshire Hathaway dude, just dropped like almost all of their apple stock, which worried me because Apple's a really nice dividend paying thing. They pay a dividend every single month too, so they're a monthly dividend, and they're just a solid company because it's Apple. But to hear one of the people I've taken much investment advice from, through videos and stuff, to hear Warren Buffett dropping all their Apple, it kind of worried me because I got a few Apple shares. It's like those things where you're like, all right, I think I'd rather carry on some Apple since Warren Buffett told me Charlie just passed away. I'm sure he's investing a little different than he used to. So. Charlie Munger. Multi-millionaires. Where I'm trying to do one day. I'm too might get this black one, but I think investing in money and just thinking ahead in the future, like I want to be I will be a landlord. That way I can get like rental checks. I can just go like check on my rental properties. Like I'll be glass blowing and then I'll be like, alright, time to go check on my rental properties. That's my goal that I'm going to get to. What's your goal, eh? What goals you guys got? Mine's to have no worries for any luxurious expenses by the age of 40. All of my dividends will take care of all of my dividend income will take care of any luxurious expenses I want, and my rental income will take care of any needs I need, or any needs. Financial freedom by 40. It takes a little minute to get these pieces all smoothed out and put together so it's no longer two pieces, it's just one solid piece. But as long as you take the right amount of time on it and they become one, then you can move on to your next step. I still see a little creasing. Went from drooling to having dry throat. I'll blow it into like a little bubble. Mostly because that expands the glass, and when you melt it back in, any of the creasing goes away. Same with expanding it, you kind of clear out the creasing. That look I was going for. I think you hear me on the videos all the time when I start seeing like what I was going for. Perfection. Which I had this like weird breakthrough where I used to go like, alright, that's good enough, and then I move on to the next step. I have to say, no, that looks exactly how I want it to look. It looks perfect. I listened to that Theo Vaughn podcast with JD why all that stuff is on my mind. Great video. Great video. Suggest it for anybody. Especially because, being any American, it's nice to get to know who is going to be one of the leaders of the country. And the new vice president. That's what's up. Alright. And now what I do with this is because our joint is going to be sitting very close to our joint's going to be sitting very close to the tube. I heat it and I let gravity make you see it dipping there. That's what I want, because I want to be able to attach it to the tube and this ball not affect it. Alright, that's where I want it. That's exactly where I want it, and now I'm going to pop the hole. And we got to make sure that this hole is plenty open. And we do that by getting it open with the small one a little bit. Then we take our gripping glass, graphite box reamer, and we open the hole to, you can see how far I go in there. Just about as far as I can push it is how far I'm opening it. Yep, that's how much I want it open. And then I take it off here, put this on here. That, and we're going to put that in the bin. Why did we just cap that off? That's the first time I've done that in a long time, but it's supposed to help with the air not being able to come out, because what happens when we're puffing air and we're trying to, ooh, nice and warm, that's what I was talking about. So what happens when we're puffing air to clean up the hole down here, you can't do that if, I don't remember where I was going with that. That's okay. There we go. If the joint is open and you puff air, air's just going to come out of the joint. It's not going to seal, so we need it to seal. So that's why we did what we did. Alright, got the downstroke ready. We got the joint ready. So all I need to do is seal this off. Seal this off a hole up here. Seal that. And then we have to put it in the kiln. Perfecto, perfecto. One of my hardest things with these is slipping it in the kiln, and so when you open the kiln doors, the temperature drops. Well, I have to open it pretty freaking wide to get this in the kiln. And I have to, then, that was, part of the good thing behind this is, so this won't be hot up here, but this will be hot as can be down here. So I'll have to shove it in there like this, and then use this to push it in there, and then close the door as quick as I can. That way the heat doesn't drop too much. It sits at 1,050 degrees. Maybe I should bring it up. Because when I open that door for as long as I'm going to have to, that thing's going to drop to 900 and something. And it'd be really bad if we get into the 800s, because remember, we don't want glass to go from hot to cold. So if 800 degrees isn't cold, but 800 degrees is a lot different than the 2,000 we just had it at, then to the 1,000. So if we go from like 2,000 something degrees then to 800 degrees, that's a pretty big difference for the glass to handle. And back is itchy today. I got my nose hairs bothering me. What's going on? Alright. Oh. Always gotta start the day with a shower. I didn't shower. So why do I feel itchy? No shower yet. Alright, so shower after the glass blow. That's today's mission. Glass blow, then shower. Alright. Sealing it is easy. The difficult thing with the tubing was the most difficult thing. I mean, I don't know, flaring the mouthpiece is pretty easy. And once you close the tube, you have to pop the hole. Like sealing the bottom is easy. Sealing this part is a little more difficult because you have to be intricate with what you're doing. And you also have to, this is the cool thing about lathes, is a lathe has like that flame that just, you have like the mini torch that just, not mini torch, you have a flame that just sits there and keeps everything hot. I don't have that. So I have to try my best to control my heat throughout the piece, because if, let's say, I'm getting too into it right here, and I let this, like while the flame is going, I let this like touch the flame down here, and we weren't working up here, and the glass is like room temperature up here pretty much, that could cause it to crack, because I just put it, the room temperature thing, in a few thousand degrees of heat. So heat control is your most important thing here. And if you have tools and stuff sitting on your table, and you're about to start working with your big flame, just go ahead and remove everything, because there's really no reason to get all this super hot. Why is another reason why I don't use my big flame that much? Well, it's because my fan, my ventilation fan, it's a distance from here, but it's not much of a distance. And the fan motor, when I've been on my tube making vibe, I remember the motor being very hot. Like I put my hand up against the motor of the fan and it was ridiculously hot. Which right now it's actually kind of warm in general, so that makes sense that with that going it makes it a lot hotter. Yeah, like I was saying, any random tools that you don't think you're going to be using right now, get them out of the way, because what was last week's video? Tool talk, graphite paddle. Bam, I'm going to use that today. Yeah, just moving tools and stuff that there's no need for it to get scorching hot. Move glass, any random stuff you got in front of you. Wow, I just keep touching hot things. Gotta remind myself what's hot. Alright, we don't need this anymore. Okay, so this is a clear stringer, and I have that in case my connection isn't perfect. I can seal with a little bit of clear stringer. So let's get an idea of what I have on my table. So I have a medium pair of tweezers, or I guess these would be the large tweezers. These are the XXL tweezers. I have my heat pad ready if I needed to grab anything in a different area, which I gotta get a new one because it's burnt through at this point. The heat pad can only take so much heat. The large tweezers, XXL tweezers. I have this here because when we open the hole, we need to get the hole the size we want it to. I'm gonna also take this back out. So we use these two. I have the medium tweezers. Yeah, medium, large, double XL. So I have the medium, the large, and the double XL tweezers, just in case I need to pinch or grab anything. Now, I got my roller, which if you're just starting, you don't need the roller. You can just get to it on here, but the roller is a game changer. So I put my torch, I level it a little lower, and I'm going to be rocking it back and forth a little bit, because I'll probably go like this. And then I don't know if you've ever seen people on lathes, but my friend Alex, who goes by Sun Eater Glass, he blows glass at Zen, he just like had his, he was just holding the torch, and the Red Max torch in his hand while he was doing it. And now he's got a lot cleaner of a setup. He even built a he built like a thing where the torch like swings whichever way he wants it. See, glass blowers, you have to be like, you're a creative artist, so take that and put it in other aspects of your life. Like the dude literally came up with a really cool torch thing to move it around wherever he wants. So rollers, just think about what you need and don't think that it's impossible to get to that. Just say, okay, I want something that I can roll the glass on, and then just keep drawing out things until you get what you want, because there are so many materials nowadays, and there's 3D printers and all that type of stuff. So if you have something in your mind, it is very easy to get it into physical form nowadays, as long as you have the drive to get it. And I say very easy because we have everything that we would need to do it, other than what's in here. Just got to make sure you got that drive to get what you want. Alright, let's get right to that big flame that we love so. And what are we going to do? We're going to let it coat the piece, because why would we want to put 1,000-degree flame right into glass? So we're just going to let that get hot for a second or two. This would be a good time to SOB, meaning smoke a bowl, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let this thing do its turn. I remember a video on how you point glass. If you have it like this, the heat comes up and out. See? Wow, we're getting fumey in here. All that soot. Alright, I'm gonna turn the other torch on, or the other fan on. Wow, I got fumey in here just by that. Holy shit. Alright. Don't leave your torch running and walk away from it. Bad idea. Alright, that whole tube got very hot from letting the flames heat up down and across it. It looks like there's a fume under it. It smells good too. Looks like it got fumed with something. I don't like how that's looking. It sounds strange, but I almost want to take out another tubing. We got this weird. I don't know if that's going to wipe off. That's what's bothering me. So that's on the inside too. I don't know how I'm going to burn that off on the inside. Alright, I'm going through this weird dilemma right now, where this, it doesn't look like just soot. It looks like something fumed it, but I don't know what would have fumed it. You can see all the condensation in the top of the tube, too. Man, confusion is striking right now, because I don't want to work on the piece if there's going to be some type of fume stuck in it. We can burn fumes off. Just how far do I go with the tube? And we shouldn't just let it get cold after having the torch right on it. You know what, man? I think that the fume will burn off because it has no other choice. I'm not giving it another choice. Funny when you're doing an educational video and then you get confused. Just wondering if I shoot the flames down the piece, if they're going to... It's not burning off. The thought is, what do I put down it now to try to wipe that off without... It would catch fire, anything I try to wipe off. Because it's so flippin' hot. I'm contemplating right now. also let it cool down and then wipe it off and see. Yeah, I think that's just soot, right? Don't overthink it. I'm trying to see if it wipes off at the top of here. Alright. Yeah, if we let this sit here, that would catch fire. 1 minute. So, I have faith, because it's good to have faith. I stuck this down here like this, and I noticed it wiped off most of the black stuff. So, once again, I think I have faith. I think I do. I have faith in God, but who knows about this? Trust it, Riley, trust it, Riley. I was looking at the torch to see if there was anything stuck on it that might have caused that weird feeling that I seen. I think it was just the soot buildup in there. It smelled weird too, a little different than normal soot. It's clear now, so you can see no more of that black stuff. Alright. Now we seal the bottom. Sorry about a little bit of confusion. Actually, not really, because it's good. It's the channel where you learn stuff, so you can see that there is confusion when you're learning. Right now, you don't want to like blast the piece of heat, so I'm just kind of like letting the heat coat the base. And it is warm over here, like this whole section. So my worry about moving the heat up is gone now. Right now I'm doing this at an angle, and it's bringing the piece closer to a point, to a close-off point. To be thin, so you want to go up a little bit and make sure that when your piece is coming to a point, it's coming to a thin point, not some little point. And I have my long puntee here today because I didn't want to get too close like I normally do. Manipulation. Glass can change so fast. I'm pulling off a little bit of nonsense from the bottom. We're a no nonsense kind of place here. Voila, okay? So, you need to make sure that this base is flat, but it's an even flat. Because if you go to put when you go to put your regular base on, you gotta make sure sometimes if you think about, like, so if I press this down on my table has a little bit of an unevenness to it, like a very slight slant, so I have to pay attention to that and keep the piece turning. I can't just boom, I have to boom, 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 boom. And that will make it the evenness that I'm looking for. You also do it right freaking here. Just get that look you're looking for. Look you're looking for. So easy to get crease lines on liquid glass. You just gotta make sure everything's hot enough. To the small torch in just a second. Because why? Because we're going to get more precise. High on the piece, high as you think you should have the joint. Remember, the glass has to be really hot. We're going to open that up. Tube whistling, good thing. That thing. Alright, let's grab the down stem out. Alright, I forgot, you gotta make this extra big because the down stem has to wiggle on in there. Now the down stem, we're gonna wiggle it in there. And if it needs to turn more, you can see my hand's like wobbling it in there because we need to make sure that it goes in the way we need it to. Remember what I was talking about watching where that heat goes. So I'm getting into this and then I'm not watching where it's hitting in the longitude. Need to curve more right there. Remember, keep your piece in the heat. You do not want your piece cooling down. Yeah, boy. I'm using the edge of this to push the glass, make it touch. Because we just need to melt this sealed. Just want to seal it all the way off. There's a little hole there. This needs to be 100% sealed. See the air shooting out of the wheel. There. Now we pop the hole. Now that hole came right out of the down stem. Because our first hole came out of the tube, the second hole comes out of the down stem. As of now, our down stem is sealed to our tube. Grabbing our our joint piece. We're going in for the most important connection now, especially because of tube angling with the heat. In the way? Yeah. The time to make sure. I talked about how in school and just in general, I say in school, but I write all the time now, so I don't know why I choose that. I always get close to the paper. I used to think something was wrong with my eyes, but I guess I just enjoy being close to what I'm working on. I noticed that happens in glass too, but it's a little more dangerous because I'm breathing in like a fume. Sometimes if you get your mini torch too close, and you have hot glass, the hot glass will just wrap around the mini torch, and it'll cut the connection, so you won't be able to have a flame put on it. It's a little shaky right here. This is in the past where I've always gotten shaky too, because it's just that last part of the tube. You're very close to the ending, so you just want to stay far away from messing anything up. That is a beautiful seal. I couldn't ask for a better seal than that. I mean, look at that. What a freaking beautiful piece. Alright, here comes the freaking trickiest part of it all. Figured I'd let you guys watch this. Hopefully not after. Might as well get this as out. Yeah. Alright. Hey, dude, 998. This stayed solid. 992. Riley. That's what I'm talking about. I'm actually very proud of how quick that went in. Usually I've had trouble getting those in there. And that was in 18X too, which is like the max that I can fit in here. Whew. Alright, so that has to sit in the kiln for the rest of the day. Nice. And I think that if I don't do an outro right now, then I'll end up finishing the tube tomorrow, which is kind of what I want to do, because today is Monday, and I knew I wanted to work on the tube, so you should be watching this on, what's up, berries? Be watching this on Tuesday, because that's when it's going to get posted. So tomorrow tomorrow I'm going to have to do the tube base, for sure. Alright, which I have some resin, but I'm not sure how old it is, because it's been sitting for a while. So I might have to get some fresh resin from Habe Labe. That's the golden place to get it from. That's where I always get it from. It's like 16 bucks for the bottles, and they last a while, especially because I make stuff here and there. Yeah. So this video is going to, or this part of the video is going to end right here, and then I'm going to get into the tube base. Alright, yeah, no outro. I'll see you guys momentarily, because it'll be tomorrow, but it won't feel like that because it's just gonna pop into the next video here shortly. Alright, still feel the need to say stay safe. Yeah, please stay safe, stay hydrated. And yeah, I will click in a little bit, I guess. Boom, hello, we are back, and I have the tube here finished. Have everything polished off and cleaned. There's a little bit of marks that I gotta rinse out. That's what they are, they're water marks, because I didn't dry the glass, but you can see we got our connection in there. Everything is solid. We got our downstem in there, and our bottom closed off. And we're sitting flat and pretty. The table has a tilt, so sitting pretty. I want to make the base for this piece first, so you just seen the process to get to this point, which is the same exact point we're at here. So we're gonna make the base for this piece, so we get to see how I create my full pieces. We're at the other side of the table today. So we are going to, first off, I want to explain that there are different colors that you can do, like I was telling you guys earlier in the video that I started yesterday, that there are many different colors that you can mix that you couldn't really get out of glass. I know you can mix glass colors, but there's certain swirls and mixes that you can get out of this that I haven't been able to get out of glass, which is cool. And so these are little packets of powder. It's like a sample pack you can get on Amazon. And then there are these ones, which are also powder, which you're going to see us use the blue powder, I think, today. Yeah, this one. I have them upside down so I can see what color they are. That might be obvious. And then these are liquid ones, so you can just put a few squirts of color in the resin when you're mixing it, and then you can create that color. So if you're going to be creating your base the way that I'm creating my base today, then that is something you should know, that there's different colors that you can add to your resin. Alright, we're going to be making the resin base. We can make glass bases, and we can do that in another video, but today I'm showing you how I do my RDW glass tubes, and those have resin bases. And I've explained why earlier in the video, which is hitting stuff and the tinks and whatnot, and being comfortable setting this down on the ground. Voila! So, something that you got to think about is if you're going to do, oh yeah, I wanted to explain how big this is. This is a 5-inch tray. So from here to here is 5 inches. And most glass bases, like we talked about with the Simba earlier, they are 5 inches. So that's why we realized that the glass base and our resin tray, or that's why we learned that our glass base and our resin tray were the same size and that they could be alternated. We could use a resin tray for a glass base. So, now that we're getting into the epoxy stuff, the thing that you're going to need to remember is that you're going to need a paper towel roll very close to you. You're also going to need rubbing alcohol because it can be sticky. It will be sticky. You also need gloves because you do not want resin all over your hands. As a glass artist, you should already have ventilation, so that should not be a problem. Stay hydrated. Hold my chair over here in case I want to sit down while I mix. Alright, so we're gonna throw our gloves on now. We're going to continue to talk about what we're going to be doing. These are the same gloves I used to take pictures of my glass. Because, oh, got the thumb going the wrong way. Look at me, retarded. Acting retarded. It's okay. Alright, cool. Awesome. So, you need the paper towels, the alcohol, you need a tray, and you can see ours are 5 inches because that's the size of the glass base. We have, I grabbed a flower earlier, oh, it's willowing. We have this I made out of a cardboard box. Now, you may say, what is that, Riley? Well, that is so when we place our piece, I mean, imagine just sitting there and letting that cure. It's going to take a few hours to cure. So what we need to do is we need to keep it stable. So how do we do that? Well, I came up with this little thing where I just shove you see I cut like an X, and then you see it can sit straight. And then I cut this because I realized I couldn't see through cardboard, so I needed to make a hole where I could see exactly what's going on there. And so we'll keep this here for now, and you can see it stays stable however we want it to, which is awesome. So, and we're gonna get into this fresh epoxy right here. I guess it's better from a far distance. Alright. You see, we went to our local Hobby Lobby. I'm sure everywhere should have a hobby store. Sure hope so. Gotta keep the people happy. And this is $24.99. So a good $26 and you get yourself plenty of resin, and you can make, you can probably make 10 or 11, probably more than that, 10 or 11 trays out of this. So you can see we got clear, they both say clear cast epoxy, and one says A, one says B. If you're pouring them both in, it doesn't really matter which one you pour first. They give you some crooked, weird, why did I blank on what those are called? I have my own, and so, oh, popsicle sticks. I was blanking on what these were called, popsicle sticks. And you can buy silicone ones. You can buy these silicone ones and use those to stir, so that's what I do. Well, that's what I have. I bought this silicone pack to have these. And we need mixing cups, which we have lots of different mixing cups. And I'm just going to use these fresh ones because our other ones are drying. I was using them earlier, and I got to let the resin get out of them. So, what we're going to do, alright, so we have, you can see there's milliliters lines. So what I usually do for most of my trays is 40 and 40, so to get it to 80, but this may need a little more, so I kind of want to do a 50 and 50, but we don't want it all the way to the top, the 100 milliliters, because that's all that fits in there. I guess I can't show that. Hitting the buttons with the gloves on is a little weird. There we go. So you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill these both up to 50, and I'm going to pour them into this, and then I'm going to mix that. Make sure this is clean. There's that one. That one's clean. I saw that it was cleaner looking. And then we're going to mix, and we're going to add color, so you're going to see that. And you have to mix the two together, so once we pour them both into here, then we'll mix them together with the color. There's no reason to add the color after you mix, because you have to mix the color in. Alright. I think I'm solid at talking fast. This is blue Stardust, so we're thinking I don't just want a clear tray or clear base, I want a Stardusty base. So I'm looking through some of the colors. It's pretty close to this though. Maybe if we use a very light bit, it will still look starry without looking fully solid. We'll see. Alright, so we have that powder that we're going to use. And I also have this little scooper that I use to scoop the powder because you need very little bit. Maybe I am going to pull the chair over here. Alright, so now what we need to do is crack these bottles open. Stuff gets messy really quick, so you just got to be aware of what you're doing. We'll use this weird popsicle stick, and we'll kind of push the. You can see it's got those things, and you gotta poke it, open it a little bit, and I'm just gonna put that to the side for now. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, like I said, pour this into either 50 or 60. You're gonna see how I'm feeling as I start pouring. We're just gonna do 50. The proportions should be as even as possible. We already got a little bit of epoxy on the side of this. I don't want this to get sticky. Then now it's time to put that away. We just did A. Now it's time to pour up on some of the B. I'm thinking I'm gonna move these out of our way now. Same thing, we're going to pour this to 50.
take our cup. Take a little bit of newspaper or something. Just put it here. Cool. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna start with this one. I mean, that's just so much more accurate. Think about this. A light enough amount of that would look perfecto. I always try to squeeze when I open it, but you have to use like very lightly. Alright. So, we're going to pour this one in. I'm sure where to keep the camera. That's perfect. And we get all that poured in. Alright. And then you want to let that sit and let everything that was in there just kind of go to the bottom, and then you can peel it off later because it's silicone. Alright. Let's get this one all in there. It's the jelly one. Because the mixing process takes so long, I usually have like a show on in the background. But then like sometimes I'll be like watching the show while making another pouring mix, and I've like poured off to the side, so try not to distract myself too much while I'm doing this, especially because this stuff gets so freaking sticky. Alright. Over here. I won't need those anymore. Don't believe we'll have enough in here. Yeah, we'll see. See if we gotta add more or not. Cover it. Yeah, we'll definitely have to add a little more. I don't know, actually. Now that we're getting the chalk actually mixed in there. It's like chalk powder. All right. Out of there as I possibly can. Nothing really else coming off. Alright. Take these gloves off. See these bubbles? So we have torches. Friend KJ, the Happy Medium Glass, taught me that. He used to work with granite, so they had to do stuff with resin. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this, place it over, and I'm going to try to center this piece as best as I possibly can. I can see that there might be like a little bubble on the opposite end, so I'm just gonna use this. Touch it. So that is how I make my RDW glass tubes, from top to bottom. This is the one I showed in the beginning of the video that I've had for a very long time. And if you see people, you'll see them post my tubes on Instagram when they're hitting them. Now you get to see how I made that tube. So, pretty freaking cool. Alright, this pendant is Alex Fern. It's Fern Gully Glass. Fern Gully Glass on Instagram. Definitely check him out. He's got some really cool pieces. You can see it's a sculpted face with a opal in the brain. Pretty awesome. That's gonna take like 30-ish minutes to an hour to get hard, and then it's gonna take like another 2, 3, 4 hours for it to be a solid, a solid piece of work altogether. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to clip that in this video because it's Tuesday, so I have to post the video today. So in next week's video, we'll get to see the piece. We'll get to see this piece, and we'll get to see this piece. Both will be fully finished, so you'll get to see the finished product. Other than the fact that this is like the finished product that we'll create. Alright. Hope you guys learned something. Hope that this inspires you to make a tube. Hope you like kind of think like, oh, okay, I don't need a lathe. I can just like either make something or just hold it to make myself a straight tube to use. So I hope like I'm inspiring somebody to make a straight tube that they use themselves. Because that would be awesome. It'd be cool to spread the knowledge and allow people to use things that they created. Because that's always been something that's huge about glass blowing and art in general for me, is if I can make something that's usable, then that's awesome. Because not only do I get to just look at my art, but I get to use it. Alright. Stay safe, everyone. In today's video, we created a tube. Stay safe, everyone. Stay lifted. We got my website, which is rdw-glass.com, and my Instagram, which is rdw_glass. On Instagram is where I'm at most of the time, so I'm posting like daily posts about glass and whatnot, and you can come there and ask questions, and I will be happy to answer. And recently I had a question that was more about business. I think I might have already talked about this, but like, feel free to ask me questions about how to turn the art into a business too, because that's something that I've been doing for the past years. So I'll tell you everything I know, that way we can all keep the information spreading and
everybody can grow as a society. Alright. Feeling good. And I got the tutorial across. Stay safe, everyone. Stay lifted. Happy melting. Peace, guys.